What, where's your partners? Where's your homies? Where's somebody to tell you, look,
The
son?
homies are the ones down there cheering him on. What are you talking about?
My dude, my guy. By the time you get up there, you should know this is a bad idea. By the time you get up to the top, you should know.
By the
That's
amount of
just Rick.
time he has paused, you can tell this is all bad. Like it's not going to end well.
This is rickety,
Oh,
rickety.
oh, oh! And down goes Frazier. Have we had enough, or are we gonna let the whole thing? Nah, we might as well let this brother go. Oh, he was so confident. Oh, that's where I'm ending it, folks. I've had enough.
That shit is more rickety than the Haitian shed.
Thank you all for tuning in to the Showtime and Kev podcast. I'm Corey Showtime.
And I am Kevin Monroe.
And what you just saw was some fuckery that we will definitely talk about at length. But we cannot start any of our podcasts until Kevin scares off the FCC with his island intro. So, Kevin, if you would be so kind.
In the name of the one called Emperor Selassie, I conquering tribe of Judah, King, Killing Santa Cruz, making music festival with the Ross, gotta go out into the feast. Whoa, scene. Burak. Enough things that go on.
Oh, beautiful. We are live. We are back. We had some technical difficulties. We figured it out. I've got to buy some more expensive electronics because that's what was holding us up. Yeah.
That's why you have an LLC, man. Expense that shit.
I intend to, man. I'm not used to having money or business. So, working my way up. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm doing fine. This week has been completely wasted on watching preseason football for no reason. The 49ers just whooped the Oakland Raiders ass, and yes, they are the Oakland Raiders forever. I don't ever want to hear you call them Vegas Raiders. That's bullshit. They're the Oakland Raiders, and they got that ass whooped.
Damn.
I am very excited. We have a good new cat named Trey Lance. The guy's his arm is a rocket. Jimmy G. I mean, we've got it going on this year. We have it going on this year. So
Nice.
I'm really excited about that.
Cool. I have no idea what's going on with this football season, and I'm in a fantasy football league, so this should be very interesting.
Um, shouldn't you know who's good or not if you're in a fantasy football league?
Yeah, no, I
Because
just
you pay for that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no, it's not much, but like I'm just doing it for fun, and yeah, I'm just doing it just to get back into it. I boycotted for a couple years, and then I just lost interest, and then I stopped paying for cable, so that was the main reason I just gave up on football in general.
Well, it's okay to give up on cable if you live in LA because if you're from the Bay like we are, I mean, you don't get any of the Bay games anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like I couldn't watch a 49ers game. Like I was following it. It's sad. Like when you're watching a game on Twitter, it's kind of it's kind of like watching like a 8-bit video game. Like they'll show you like this little dot moves here. That's like 4 yards or whatever. It's pathetic. So you might as well give up cable and just like buy the package and just do it over the internet. Well, man, what's popping with you, Corey?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to do shows wherever possible. Comedy's picking back up. Um, yeah, that's just been pretty much it for me. I've been doing shows here and there and existing. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's things are picking up, but it's kind of like it's kind of coming and going a little bit, because right now, like there's still mandates in California where you still have to wear masks to come inside, but as soon as you come inside, you can take off the mask. It's
Yeah.
just like, why would you? I mean, it's almost as if like COVID is like in the doorway. Like you have to wear a mask when you walk into the doorway, but once you get inside, oh, it's all good.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I got double. Me and Milan got vaccinated, so just in case just in case, basically. And so we go to a show last night. That's like it's out in Long Beach. Awesome show. Reza puts on a great show. Wrigley's Comedy Chew. But like that was kind of like a backyard type of deal. There was probably about 40, like no, 30 to 40 people back there. Not sure who all knew each other. Not sure who all had masks. Then after that, we went to this Caribbean soca party that she had tickets, and people had
What?
masks. Yeah, it was fun. People had masks. People did not have masks. It was what it was. We're all gonna die. It's just simple as that. We're all gonna die.
Yeah, I think people kind of like come to this point where it kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's just I think we just reached that point. We're all gonna die. Like I don't know what like. There's no point in trying to fight it anymore. Just
Oh,
like because you
yeah.
know you're not gonna get anybody to get into a consensus and wear masks and socially distance and get vaccinated because they're supposed to. We can't even fucking
No,
bribe people to do that. So
no, no.
we're all gonna
They're
die.
giving me lottery tickets, and people are like, my freedom.
Yeah,
Did you hear about these cats? You hear about these cats who are like, they're drinking animal dewormer?
I heard about it, but
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and enlighten me.
Yeah. So
Enlighten me.
what this is? So what it is there was one paper published one time by one guy that says the dewormer you give to horses and cattle may possibly help uh and prevent COVID from getting bad. It doesn't prevent infection, but it prevents you from getting sick. And you know, and of course, this fuckery shows up on Fox News. Tucker Carlson's like, and people are like the government, like Mississippi, like the poison control in Mississippi, like 70% of the calls now are for people drinking this animal dewormer. And the governor of Mississippi had to come on television and tell people, "You are not a cow. Do not drink this." I mean, like, all right, you know what? The gloves are off. The gloves are off. Y'all stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all are just y'all stupid. I don't want to tell you. He said time out on the court. Time out on the court.
Has anyone taken a second to understand that no matter how skeptical you are about the vaccine, at this point right now with the animal dewormer, you are taking much riskier steps than the vaccine. Whatever the side effects to the horse dewormer are, those are immediate and going to happen. For the simple fact, you're not a horse. I'm fucking certain of that shit. I did not go to I'm not a veterinarian, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I'm fucking positive you are going to
You're
have
not
side
a horse.
effects from the horse dewormer more than you would from actually catching COVID at this point. You feel me? Like that's more I feel like that's more dangerous to you than actually getting
Right.
sick.
Yeah, yeah. It's obvious. I mean, poison control is saying people are getting sick. They're getting poisoned by this stuff, and they also have COVID because they didn't vaccinate themselves. So it's like not only do you have COVID, but you also poison yourself. It's like, what next? Oh yeah, I heard rat poison works against COVID. You know, and you know, and you know what? If Tucker Carlson went on Fox News and said that that rat poison cures COVID, these dummies would go ahead and do it. I mean,
Okay.
I mean at this point, it's like, should we care?
I,
Should we
I
care?
I think I found a way that some of these things the between the dodging the COVID, wearing a mask is impinging on your freedoms, dodging getting vaccinated, getting around, and even going to the fucking crate challenge. There is this phenomenon in America where like being contrary is more desirable than being correct. You know what I mean? Like
Okay, that's a
instead
good
of
point.
like we all know you shouldn't go up these rickety ass milk crates and bust your ass, but it's cooler to be like, no, I can do it. Just like we all know you should probably get vaccinated so we can stem this COVID outbreak. But to
Yeah, but
beg the question and wonder what might like, oh, the government's trying to do stuff to us, which they are. I'm not even gonna argue that with you, but not every fucking government on Earth at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. There is something Americans like to be contrarian about things, and they like to question authority. But yeah. But the idea that somehow the entire planet is conspiring to give you something is insane. And I always tell people like, there's no the conspiracy. The reason conspiracies don't work is, I mean, you've had office jobs. If you are a manager and you can get 10 people to do the same thing that work for your job, you are a genius. Okay, imagine getting the entire planet to conspire to do one thing. You can't get 10 people at your own job to do the same thing at
Yeah,
all.
I can't get
Conspiracies are by definition impossible because people are morons, and this is what happens.
can't get 10 people in an office to sign a birthday card. The fuck do you think you can get the entire planet?
To sign a birthday card.
Yeah, you gonna get the entire planet in on this shit. And yeah, but back to the fuckery, because I feel like if we keep talking about the vaccine, we're just gonna be sad. But like, let's still like, and we're gonna, I'm sure we're gonna cover that. But
Yeah, but back to the milk crates. My
yes,
my first question, and I've had this question this entire week. Where are they finding all these milk crates?
excellent question.
I mean, I mean, I don't order milk by the crate. Like, this is not the 1950s. Leave It to Beaver, where like the milkman shows up, and black people are lactose intolerant. Where the fuck are these milk crates coming from?
And that's another thing. Like, I usually like. Here's the thing. There was a period of time when I had cable where like I was kind of wasting it because I just left the TV on one of three channels, either HBO, ESPN, or MTV2. And the reason I would leave it on MTV2 is because they basically run ridiculousness on a fucking loop. And for
Yeah,
whatever reason, when I get high out of my mind, I can watch white people fall off skateboards for hours on end. Right? So I'm well
that's your
versed.
entertainment.
Yes, I'm well versed in watching people fall down for my entertainment. So, but I'm also more used to it coming from the more unseasoned among us because they have more disposable income and better health insurance and overall get treated better in hospitals. So the fact
Right.
that I'm seeing so many black people in the hood doing this shit is disheartening as fuck because you're breaking your back for nothing. Also, yeah, where are they getting the fucking crates from? Is there just a naked ass Albertson somewhere that just don't have none? Like, what's going on? Like, why and why are you seeking out these crates for this particular thing? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea where they're getting them from. I mean, I'm sure Ralphs and Albertsons are like like chaining up their crates now, because because these idiots want to go viral.
Yeah,
But
stealing free
like
shit.
it it got to the point, and here's the crazy part. It's gotten to the point that TikTok has banned these milk crate challenge videos. They banned them. They're like, we can't trust you to do the right thing. So we TikTok, we show videos of like wannabe strippers twerking and people like firing the dogs out of cannons and all kinds of foolishness. But this, no, like we cannot allow this.
Feel like that would
Uh,
have been stopped a long time. No,
go,
you know how that is. If
yeah, with the
anybody would have
dogs,
found
yeah,
out
yeah.
that was a thing, they would have like, no,
It's
no,
it's
no. Like Peter would have
it's
shot some humans over that.
but I mean, think about this. Like this cold-blooded, like uh, amoral corporation that only cares about making money has to step in and tell human beings, you cannot use our platform to kill yourselves by falling off of milk crates.
And someone has had to have died by now. I'm not even saying that like optimistically, like, oh, I hope that's it. No, I'm just saying, like, just judging from the videos that I've seen, somebody has broken their neck
Yeah,
or
or
been
broken something.
paralyzed or just some gnarly falls, man. Because like you're basically just you're taking a leg sweep at like 6 feet in the air. That shit's like getting undercut going up for a layup in the NBA. That's fucking terrible. Like,
Yeah,
why would you want to do that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If milk crates were an NBA player, they'd be fined and banned for a season for
Hell
doing what
yeah.
they're doing to black people.
Brought our test.
Yeah, it's malice in the palace every day in the hood right now.
Yeah.
You know, um, but I know. I mean, people do it because they want to go viral and they think this is like a cool thing to do, and I don't know, malt liquor. I don't know, like something is. But the fact that TikTok has to be the adult in the room here. TikTok,
Yeah.
a platform that was a a platform for like Chinese synchronized dancing, has to tell Americans, please stop killing yourself on our platform. We won't allow it. That's
Yeah.
pretty pathetic.
It's kind of like how
Man,
it's kind of like how now that Mike Tyson is like in his 50s and he's on weed and he's coaching people, it's like he's the voice of reason and like, damn, really, Mike Tyson is the dude we're taking. Would
yeah,
have
yeah,
thought.
yeah, yeah. It's come to that. Like we're just that bored and stupid that now we have like people. A guy who bit another person's ear off is the adult in the room. Like, how did that happen? Um,
Yeah,
so here's the official statement. TikTok has banned the popular milk crate challenge from its platform due to concerns that users participating in the trend could be seriously injured. The challenge saw TikTok users stacking milk crates into pyramids in an attempt to climb across the unstable structure. Yeah, no
really.
shit. I don't.
Like yeah, TikTok is based in China. Like they're just straight up looking the other way on an entire Muslim atrocity right now. But this is some shit they're like, you know what, we got to do something.
these, these black people are killing themselves. These black people are killing themselves.
I don't
So
know if that's less
fucking.
racist, but it's still, yeah, like this. Yeah, this
It,
is
it,
it's stupid.
I,
I have nothing else to say besides it's stupid, and part of me is like like now that I'm older, like I just mentioned the example with Mike Tyson, I'm thinking like, what would 23-year-old college student Corey do? Probably under the influence of several drugs. Well, I know one thing: I wouldn't be doing that because I'm too heavy for it. Fat people and falling don't go together. So like I'm not doing anything that's gonna involve me falling down. Like I might get drunk and get into a fight, but I'm not gonna get drunk and do a stunt. Like that's not me.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mean, people will just make fun of you, and you go viral for all the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
and it's just like, why would you do that? Like, this is not like that's not it's too unstable. Why would you even try? And it's the same reason like why I don't like those Lime scooters or whatever. Like I'm 6'6". Okay, this is not made for me. Okay, that is I'm gonna tumble the hell over like within 5 seconds of being on one of those things. It, and people want to be like, "Why are you on this thing?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm an adult. I should do this." I mean, my health insurance. I expect if I go to the hospital for riding a lift scooter for the Lime scooter for the first like 5 minutes, the doctors just laugh at me.
All right, hang
Man.
on. Like last thing before, and we can change the subject, but I gotta show everybody a crate challenge on that. Like this is the last thing you're ever gonna see on it.
Wait, what?
This reminds me
No,
of that.
no, this is not Black Girl Magic. This is Black Girl Tragic.
This
No.
reminds me of that meme where it was like marching into next year with
No, no, no. This is not Black Girl Magic. This is not. Is she really? Word? I, I hope okay. This is I hope she's gonna be okay. This looks
yeah.
bad. She's in heels.
Listen, Kevin.
Carry the stallion. You did it
Are you
faster in
kidding?
the hills.
Oh shit. Okay.
Boom.
All right. Okay. Well, go on, girl. I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah, because every single one of them has been fucking terrifying, and like people landing on their necks, and like I'm always afraid. Like I've watched way too many basketball games where like a guy goes up and like his legs get out from under him, but not so much like landing on his neck, but like he puts his arm out to brace, and then that shit just gets all mangled up. Like that's what happened to like Andrew Bogut, like when he first started, and I'm just expecting to see that more. You know, just more people landing and breaking their arm, ruining their shoulders, fucking up their
Yeah,
lives.
Patrick McCaw from the Golden State Warriors. Like that dude, like they cut him, they undercut him, and he like broke his back or something. And the dude was out. He was gonna be out of the league. They're worried if he could walk again.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, he's back, but I mean, damn. I mean, once that happens, you know, you're falling from 6 feet in the air, and you know, it's
that's more than
anyway.
high enough to break your neck. So just be careful out there, folks. And by careful, I mean don't fucking do this. You literally have no reason to do this shit. You're not gonna go viral. You will go to the hospital. Don't do it.
Right, right. I mean, and the thing people forget is by the time something becomes viral, like the first 5 people that do it, they get all the pub, and the rest of the people they're just there for tragedy. So
Yeah.
anyway, um, and we still have not solved the mystery of where the hell all these milk crates are coming from. I saw something on Twitter. Somebody said that the CIA was putting milk crates in the hood. they, and you know what? They might be right. I don't know. I don't know.
That's highly possible.
So okay, so let's switch topics to something that's been popping up in my mailbox. It's coming to your mailbox as well. So uh, if you live in California, uh, Gavin Newsom is being recalled. It's a bunch of right wing idiots who are trying to get him out of there because they can't win elections. So this is what they do. They sponsor recalls and so on.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of people who are on the list of possible governors. I mean, including Caitlyn Jenner and a bunch of people that have one name, and people that don't even have pictures in the. It's like 24 or 25 people. But the one guy that steps out to me, and I really want to talk about this, is Larry Elder. Larry Elder is a black conservative who wants to be governor of California. And there's this thing in America where like black conservatives are always trying to like out-white the white conservatives. Like Larry Elder said the minimum wage should be zero. Yes, slavery. You work for free. I'm like, you can be a conservative. You don't have to like you went all the way there. He's the minimum wage should be zero. Climate change is a hoax, and he wants no mask mandates, so we end up looking like Florida. But I mean, so all those things are okay. I get it. That's kind of like right in the vein of modern, crazy conservative. But minimum wage being zero, I
Yeah.
think he just kind of threw that in there, and it's just like, what is it with some? I mean, I don't know. Like you. I mean, I don't know a lot of black conservatives, but it seems to be like the ones that show up, like the Herschel Walkers and people like that. Like they go the extra mile.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's not enough to be a conservative. Like you have to like out white the whites. Like why?
Um, I think I have an idea. I don't want to go deep into the mind of a coon and try and like extrapolate, but
Into the mind of a coon.
like I don't want to know what I don't like. Yeah, there's some parts that I don't even want to know, but like I feel like it's the same way. Like when you see cops, like and there's a black dude that's a cop, and he might have gotten into it for the all the best reasons, but by the time he's 30 years on the force, he's dirty as the rest of them because it's a its own club, and you gotta do extra just to show that you're not trying to shake things up. So I think with when you have a black Republican, not enough to just be black and Republican or be black and be for black rights from a Republican standpoint. it's I think now being conservative is so much about keeping poor people and minorities down that you got to step an extra step past that, where it's like
Hmm.
I'm not just in the club, like I'm one of the good ones. I'm like,
Hmm. So it's like what NWA said, right? Like with the police and fuck the police, like don't let it be a black and a white one, because they'll slam you straight on the blacktop. Black police showing out for the white cop.
exactly. It's
it's
like
it's
it's the game is bad enough if you're conservative because it's like fuck everybody, but if you're black, it's like fuck everybody, including myself. You feel me?
it's
Especially
just so.
myself, even.
How do you like rationalize that in your head? It's like you are a in 2021 you are a black man advocating for free labor, slavery. Like what the fuck? Like how do you
You think he ever had like you know it'd be hilarious if he had an affair with Candace Owens that got out right before the recall.
Hmm. Nah, Candace don't fuck with black dudes.
Well, he isn't. But that is makes sense.
I mean,
Well, dude, remember the whole O.J. Simpson documentary, or several documentaries, but there was one really good one that kind of got into the whole psyche of I'm not black, I'm OJ.
hmm
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
think go ahead.
No, no, I remember that. I mean, he really wanted to like blend into that upper class society, and everybody treated him a certain way, and he made it. He made no bones about it. Like he wanted to be he wanted to live that Beverly Hills Brentwood lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
So I think it's that, but it's like once you adopt that colorblind identity as a black person, you're it's even worse because like it's one thing for white people to be like I don't see color because you're seeing that from an area of privilege to where your color doesn't matter. So either you're
hmm,
white or you're just whatever, meaning I don't see. But if you're black doing that, then you're consciously making the decision to like try and act like the other ones at the sake of what you know you are. There's nothing Larry Elder
hmm.
can do to make himself white. Period. I mean, he can get physical. He can he can probably get an operation, but everybody's
He
gonna
can do a
know.
Sammy. He can do a Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, exactly. He can come around walking around like a wad of bubble yum, but but there's nothing he could do to actually be like a part of white society, be ingrained in like the power structure. Like, I mean, he can get into politics, but he can never be in that club. But he's willing to try and trade everything for.
Hmm. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And okay, and that's a really important point that you're bringing up here, which is that if you're a white person and you say you're colorblind, it really doesn't really cost you that much because you can the world is already pretending that you are the universal person, so you don't have to think about it. But if you're black and you're saying that, you have to throw a whole bunch of stuff out the window. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that's like you got to get up every day and put that face on and pretend that it's not. I mean, which is crazy because when I walk in the room, I know what I look like to other people. Like that'd be insane to be like, well, I'm just a person. No, that ain't
like
happening.
I've known a couple black Republicans. And it's funny because like they're always cool people until you get to that side of it, and then once I feel like that's why people don't talk religion and politics because like you might like somebody, and then once you hear something about like their fundamental beliefs, like you start to realize like maybe you're not as cool a person as I thought. And when you start talking about shit like that and you hear them say like oh like blacks got to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and that there's a million different like straight up red flags that'll pop up and it's like
Right, right. Yeah,
don't
I
you
have met black people like that where and because I especially in corporate circles where I worked a lot, like you start having a casual conversation and then they'll start pulling the what do you call it, like the manifesto, like we can just do this or that. We we can pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, and all we need to do is be treated like people. And then, of course, and as soon as they drop the Martin Luther King Jr. card, I just go like, I'm done. I'm done. As
Yeah,
soon as the Martin Luther King Jr. card comes out, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
yeah.
We
Once,
to be treated by the content of our character and
yeah.
not the color. Like, dog,
Two,
that's never happened in America from 1619 till 2021. Not a single day has gone by where there hasn't been laws, literal laws. I mean, this is how bad it is. They wrote it down. They put it in the laws
that's
that
what
we are not even.
systemic means.
They wrote it down. They absolutely wrote it down. So, you know, but I mean, whatever gets you out of bed, bro. Like,
There's still mortgages to this day that people live in the houses of that say that there's a clause that they don't stick to anymore that says you're not allowed to rent to black people.
oh
Those
yeah,
mortgages still exist.
yeah, grandfather clauses. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they're technically they're illegal now, but you have to have somebody go and root it out. But until that's done, it just sticks there. Um, I mean, and then there's so much of this stuff happening. I mean, like after Hurricane Katrina, that was one of the great examples. Um, Chalmette County made this law that said you could not rent in Chalmette County unless you previously lived there or you had a relative that lived there, right? And that's the first law they passed right after Hurricane Katrina. Like nothing, about schools or about emergency services, but just about that because they didn't want black people to move into the neighborhood. I mean, and that was Hurricane Katrina. That it's been out within our lifetime. I mean, so I mean, I think like Colin Powell is probably like the last black conservative that you could kind of, if you squint hard, you're like, he's kind of a good guy. You know, you know what I
Also
mean?
a general, so you know.
But this Larry Elder cat, man. I mean, he's you know who else was really embarrassing? This guy named Errol who was running for California 37. He's running for California representative, and he was a Trump supporter. Jamaican guy. I was so embarrassed because I'm like, look, Caribbean guy. You need to really realize what's going on over here, okay, and get off the theory. Oh man, he was driving around in a big like one of those like pickup trucks with the big uh, Trump flag and the American flag. And by the way, isn't it funny? Like if you see a bunch of white dudes waving the American flag, don't you want to cross the street?
Yeah, that's a gang sign now. It has been. Like it's just like now it's official. Now it's like that's how bad the Trump presidency was. It changed the entire meaning of the American flag.
Yeah, if you see a bunch of white guys on the street waving the American flag, going USA, 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 you're not like, yeah, go America. You're like, oh shit.
You just normally I would just be like, oh shit, we must have won an Olympic hockey game or something. You know, like I wouldn't pay that any mind. Like that shit usually happens like every summer. Like you would normally see a bunch of white people with American flags on USA drinking, you know, and you give that the amount of space necessary because, drunken white people. But now it's like you're probably coming to lynch.
It's not gonna be safe. It's just not.
Country ain't safe, and that's the funny thing. Like overall, it is. Like it's like you still, even when your crime rate's bad, it's still like 5 in every 100,000 violent crime. Like 5 incidents of violent crime for every 100,000 people. So like it's still minuscule that something bad's gonna happen. But
Yeah,
like
like Honduras or somewhere like that. Yeah.
yeah, relative to like places where it's going down in like the clear sight of what's going on. But like America's more close to a third world country than it's willing to give itself credit for.
I didn't pay for this, man. Like this is really annoying me. It's like
Everybody
I
got
paid it,
guns too.
man. I am not. I'm not I'm not a gun toter. I don't see myself ever owning a gun. I mean, I'd rather. I mean, for me personally, like if you like guns, I know my brother likes guns, and I'm fine with that. But I mean, personally, I feel that I'd rather fight for a country where the average citizen does not need to have a gun. I mean, where like, for example, if something happens and I call the police, I'm not worried the police are going to try to shoot me. Which did happen at one point where I got in an altercation with the guy and I called the police and I was like, oh shit, it's LAPD. I need to leave.
Every black man that has ever had an encounter with a police officer, very high number, has probably had. There's a equally high probability that they've had a gun pulled
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I've had a gun pulled on me, and I tell this story to people all the time, and half the time they don't believe me. In San Francisco on 8th Street, um, I made a right turn at a stop sign, not a stoplight, a stop sign, without stopping. And the police, they cut me off, get on the ground, get on the ground, all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm on my bicycle. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I'm coming downhill on a bicycle making a
on.
on and I'm not crossing
Look
traffic or
out! He's
anything.
gonna hit a puddle. Like, what fucking damage or carnage could you have been? What danger could you have been to anyone besides yourself?
It's like, why do we need to go from 0 to 100 like over this? Like, it was just so strange. Um,
Oh, and
and it was
real quick, I don't like guns. I I now understand the need for them. They still scare the shit out of me, but I own several.
do you have a case? We like keep them like locked up?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, like, I originally just got one because my grandfather passed away and left me one, and now I have like four. It's incredible how that works.
You have 4 guns.
None of your business.
Damn, Corey is strapped. No, I mean, but I mean, as long as whatever you have is like locked up, so you can't like, accidentally do something or somebody can come steal them. That's fine. But no,
But
I mean,
the funny thing, I'm sorry to jump in, but the funny thing about gun laws is like there's all these responsible gun owner laws, thing, whatnot. But like when you really think about it, like it kind of defeats the purpose of why you have a gun. Like they say you got like you can own a gun, but they have to be locked up and unloaded and the ammunition in a separate place. But I'm like, the whole point of me having a gun for home protection for it to be loaded and accessible. So the law is
well,
kind
I
of
mean,
like
well, look, if somebody breaks in your house, you just have to let them know, hey, give me a 5 minute head start. I need to go find the ammunition, need to unlock the safe, need to clean it, take the safety off, put the, all that stuff in, and off you go.
like, and
Um,
I get if you have kids in the house, you gotta have gun locks because they can get to them and everything. But at the same time, the whole point of you having a gun because you have kids in the house is because if someone comes to your front door, you want to be able to get to the gun, and now I am prepared to defend my home. You know what I mean? So it's just
yeah,
like it's a
well,
paradox, a paradox.
um, well, the problem of being a gun owner while being black is that gun ownership was never meant for black people at all, like
One hundred
never.
percent.
Um, Gun laws, like throughout American history, have always been. I mean, black people were never allowed to have guns, and even when black people decided to have guns, so the great example, of course, is the Black Panther Party when they brought guns to Sacramento, and Reagan changed the gun laws. All of a sudden, it was illegal to
Man,
to carry
yo,
guns in public.
I shared that I was watching some video that had that whole situation, and like there was a sound bite. It was a video clip of big Governor Ronald Reagan when he had black hair. It was really weird seeing. It's weird seeing him young because my entire life he's always been like. But like he
Mhm.
was like young in the '60s, and he's going off on like there's no reason for any rational human being to have a loaded gun on them in public. I'm like,
Mm,
I'm sorry, was this Ronald Reagan? Ronald
mm.
Wilson Reagan? Or whatever the fuck his middle name is. Like Ronald Reagan, the GOP god, telling you all that there's no good reason for an American to open carry? Because when it was
Yep.
black people, oh shit, this is a horrible idea. But now, like, fast forward to 2021, try and take the shotgun off a redneck's shoulder.
Yep, yep. From my cold dead fingers.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
during the Civil War, like the Confederates really wrestled with the idea of arming black people to help them. But when they started running out of troops, they were like, well, but it was not so much that they were afraid that black people would shoot them. I mean, obviously that's a good thing to worry about.
they
I mean,
should have been afraid of them.
whipping, yeah, been whipping this guy for years. He give him a gun. You know, my first choice would be
Boom.
like, right. But the thing is, if black people were able to show themselves as capable fighters, that would kneecap the entire idea of the Confederacy, which is that black people were inferior and not capable of fighting. So it was like a practical thing and a philosophical thing, and that's kind of like traveled on. I mean, again, as a foreigner coming to America, this stuff is like so obvious to me, and it's so written down. It's so weird that I have to argue with people about this. Like, no, this is what your country is.
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna transition to something. Probably wasn't even on the list. Since you mentioned that,
Okay.
we don't even in in America, we have a whole section of history, several sections of history, but one in particular that we just don't want to talk about. And lately, we've decided to give that section of history a name and call it critical race theory, which is another vocabulary word that makes your grandparents upset. You know, just basically how these work. Like I've noticed in my adult lifetime that politicians are really, really good at attaching buzzwords to shit, and that shapes the next 4 years.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
like, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but like, oh, black on black crime, just
Hmm.
crime. But like, if you attach black on black to it, then you can automatically give it a face, and then it gives you the idea of the super predator. You know, like
Hmm.
when that was
Yep.
going out, and you want to
Yep.
got make sure you keep those guys off the street. And then that's another thing when it
Shout out
comes to
Joe Biden.
policing. You know, it's not over policing. It's clear, like so you want clean streets out there. Vocabulary words are huge in this country, which get around, which is a way of saying exactly what you want to say without fucking saying it.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. I mean, shout out to Hillary Clinton for coming with super predators. Shout out to Joe Biden for uh, enforcing those laws and so on.
I voted for
Um,
both of them.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's the best of the worst. That's but I don't I have no problems with people voting for somebody like a Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton, even though like their politics can be awful in certain places. I mean, you have to understand, like Lyndon Johnson didn't like black people, but he did sign the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act and the Immigration and Naturalization Act, which is why I'm here in America. So you don't have to like these motherfuckers, right? You
True.
just have to get them to sign the fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like we're not homies, but
At
just
all.
sign the bill and we're good.
Yeah.
Lincoln didn't like black people. He said if he could, and he said it, if he could end the Civil War without freeing a single black person, he would.
You know
And
what?
after that, he was trying to get black people to go to Liberia. He's like, I'll give you free passage. Just get out.
And that's
Right? But
like even to a more recent example when Ice Cube was trying to bring that talking points to Trump. He's like, "Look, I don't like this motherfucker. Just trying to do some shit." You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't have to be homies or friends, but see, that's the thing about, and this is the thing I always get into arguments with like Bernie Sanders followers about, is that black people are practical. Okay, we know you don't like us, but we need this done and this done and this done. And as long as you do that, we're cool. After that, you can go and as Paul Mooney would say nigga 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 until your teeth turn white. We don't care. Like it's practical, you know.
Yeah.
But the Bernie people, they've been so like, you have to pass a purity test. We don't care. We know what you think about us. We don't care about that. Just sign the fucking check, dog. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And I think
So
that's also part of the problem with like I even hate saying part of the problem with cancel culture is the fact that it makes everything completely polarized. Like for or against. No gray area, which politics is 100% gray area. Living is 100% gray area.
Mm,
People do horrible shit and they should be accountable for it. Absolutely. Once they are
mhm.
accountable for it, can we move on? Should. And that's what doesn't happen, which is why we kind of why we are where we are.
Yeah, I think cancel culture is overrated, and it's overrated because the kinds of people that claim that they're going to be canceled don't lose their gigs, they don't lose their money, they don't
Yeah.
lose their mansions, they don't lose anything. Like Louis C.K., the guy's touring, he's
Yeah, he's
not
doing
lost
fine.
any money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he was sentenced to 6 months of vacation in a mansion of his choosing,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so it's not a real thing. But what I've found is that people love to claim that they're victims when absolutely nothing's happened to them.
Yeah.
I mean, the only people who really get what they deserve are people who are like the most egregious people, like the Harvey Weinsteins of the world.
And even he
Like
didn't
they
get what
go
he
to jail.
deserved until just now. He got away with it for 30 years. But that's
Yep.
also the business. Like Harvey Weinstein ain't the only dude out there doing it.
Yeah, I mean, R. Kelly's feeling it right now. I don't know if you heard about this, but R. Kelly's been trying to sell his catalog, and nobody wants to buy it. I don't know. I mean, I feel kind of bad because "Step in the Name of Love" is still,
I was just about to say,
it's still
let's
my
be real.
jam.
It's not that nobody wants it. It's just that nobody wants to be the one that does buy it.
Yeah, yeah. Like those executives are still like, yeah, "Step in the Name of Love." Nah, I can't.
And even on some music shit, like money wise, they're like, oh, we would make bank off these residuals, but our company would fold tomorrow from the PR if we bought this
Um,
shit.
oh yeah, yeah. They know, and I think what they're waiting for is for the temperature to cool down.
Mm.
And I promise you, like 10 years from now, when people forget all this shit, I mean, it's coming back. I mean, "Step in the Name of Love" is never going away, my friend. I'm sorry to tell you that shit is still a jam.
And I'm sorry to tell you, if we had to get rid of all the music from all the musicians we found out are monsters, we would be listening to like there's
Yeah,
I hate to break it, but like I don't know if it's part of the business, part of just being guys, or some combination of the two. But
yeah,
odds are, especially the further back you go, the worse it gets. But
right.
like,
But even in my lifetime, I mean, like you think of Belle Biv DeVoe, "Backstage, underage, adolescent." That was a lyric in "Do
yeah.
Me Baby."
And also,
Backstage.
I'm not victim blaming. I'm not even calling them victims, but like, like there's people that were complicit in it. There's always been groupies that will do anything for a rock star, which is why they do anything with everybody, and that's usually when they go too far. Like I said, I'm not blaming it. I'm
Yeah,
saying it's just a function of the game.
yeah. I mean, at the time, it seemed fine. But it's not. Did they even take the? They took. Did it take it off?
Looking for.
What? Oh, I'm looking at the. Oh, no, no. Oh, they kept the lyrics. "Backstage, underage, adolescent. How you doing? Fine." She replied, "Aside, I like to do the wild thing. Action took place." like, like, dog, you were confessing to like having sex with
Hey,
an
Bobby
underage
Shmurda
girl.
just got out of jail. So, like I said, yeah, dude. Like, here's another thing. Like, even if it's not the horrible shit, like the horrible sexual shit, like just look at like everything I grew up listening to. Like, all of gangster rap is just felonies. It's just rapping about felonies. Is murder, murder, gang banging, like fucking sexual assault. Like everything is just like the entire shit like that I listen to is like. Fuck, like
Yeah,
if we're gonna like, there's a dude named Brother Lynch Hung I listened to in the 8th grade.
that brotherly chug. Yeah, I knew about that cat. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude was talking about like killing people and mixing brains with his spaghetti sauce and shit. Yeah,
Okay, I don't remember that. Jesus Christ. Did
it
your
was all
parents not? Did your parents not like? tell you what to listen, what not to listen to.
Yeah, of course they did. But you think I played that fucking track for them? No, I played the popular one that was on the radio that they kind of didn't like, but it was on the radio. So what can you do?
Uh, Mitch caught a body about a week ago. uh, yeah, I mean, we've had this discussion before, but I think in about 20 or 30 years from now, like when as we get older, like people are gonna look back at us and be like, "You listened to Doggy Style."
Yeah,
They're talking about pimping hoes and smacking bitches, and you guys were cool. Yeah, of course.
cool with it. We were complicit. We had pimping whole part. The women dressed up like hoes. Like was everybody was part of this. Snoop Dogg walked two women into one of the MTV Awards on a leash in like 1998. Like I said, if we go back in time, we are all going to be listening to nothing.
Yep.
Teddy
I do
Pendergrass
remember.
fucked everything that moved. Like I don't think he cared to check for ID. Like it just is what it is, man. They were all heavily anything that happened in the 70s was wrong. Let's just say that right now. Like
The entire let's cancel the 70s,
just
basically.
everything that happened in the 70s was wrong now, okay?
The
The
70s is
hair, the
canceled,
makeup, the
everybody.
drugs, everything was wrong.
In the 70s, you could shoot a motherfucker, like move to a different state, create a fake ID, dye your hair blonde, and just move on with your life. Like nobody
Yeah,
would find you.
yeah, that's happened.
Oh man, we should have a whole throwback uh we talk about just lyrics and just the things that misshaped us, if you want to call it
Keon
that.
has an Instagram series called Lyrics We Let Slide, and his is usually on like suspect shit. But like yours is a more macro idea of like, yeah, why do we even allow this entire genre to exist? You know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I had a couple videos like that. Well, it was like Kumo D, like in his battle raps, and his battle raps are like extremely gay. He's like, yeah, but I'm so up in you. And if you had enough, I'm so up in you, you'd be throwing up, and you're like, yo, what?
Yeah. Well, that was the 80s. I mean,
I'll send you a YouTube link. You could watch it. It's ridiculous. Well,
I
all
don't
right.
think
Well, so
America hang on real quick. I don't think America understands just how many very very important decisions were based on cocaine. Solid.
mm, yeah, yeah. I mean, we talk about business, about music. Yeah, yeah. Uh, my first like realization that cocaine was playing a big part was I watched that Dennis Edwards and Saida Garrett video. Don't look any further, and that dude's jaw is just
Don't look any further.
mm,
Oh, no.
yeah. And that shit looking was shot in like an Olin Mills studio in J.C. Penney or something. And that dude was just.
Every decade of my life, probably like every couple years of my life, some major political figure or business person has been busted with a mountain of period.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Donald Trump Jr. He's a cokehead, definitely. Trump is on Adderall. That's a well known thing. Like he would crush up Adderall and snort it. I mean, I don't know what that does to you, but
Yeah, I'm like, couldn't you just take the pill? Like, why do you have to do that?
it, it,
Sounds
it didn't make him any
painful.
smarter.
Yeah, that sounds painful.
Hmm, yeah, it's messy. Uh, Rick James took everything. Pretty
He's
much.
no longer with us.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to fool us on the Chappelle show where he just sit there with like a bottle of water, and you always know when people are trying to convince you that they're clean, they'll sit there with a bottle of water. It's like, and when he died, they found like 8 or 9 things in him. I mean, he had cocaine and crack and Adderall and alcohol, and like, I mean, it's like, come on, dog, we know what you're doing.
I
Um,
mean, that's how rock stars work. I mean, coming back over, I think we started with that. Like, yeah, that's being a rock star. You just excess is your job.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So what have you learned today? We have learned that standing on rickety milk structures is bad for your health.
Very.
Um, we also learned that American history is replete with laws that people are terrified to even confront. And by the way, critical race theory is graduate level legal studies. So if people are like, I don't want my kid studying critical race theory. Well, if your kid is a Doogie Howser and is in law school, then he will learn it. But otherwise, shut the fuck up. There's no one's teaching that in high school, much as
Yeah.
college. That's a graduate level course. You have to get to college and then get to grad school to get that. So anyway,
My thing on that is like when I hear a half racist parent or a veiled racist politician say, "I don't want my kids having to learn critical race theory." I'm okay. Well, then just call it American history
nah,
because
it,
it
it
is
won't.
what it
It won't.
is.
It
You
won't
don't
work.
want it to like. You may not like. I think part of the problem with like why nothing changes in this country is because we never really do anything about it. We know it's there. It is to be reported. You can go find the information, but no one in an official sense is ever going to acknowledge the wrong and make amends. You know? Like we all
Well,
know
well, well
slavery happened. Nobody's ever going to, you know, give us reparations for it.
yeah. I mean,
We all
why
know
would they? I
redlining
mean,
and apartheid happened, but nobody's going to give the black people directly affected by that anything. Because one thing this country hates is seeing black people get anything free. Oh, they don't even like to see us win they don't even like to watch us win basketball games. They hate seeing us win anything. Like I
you should
feel
be
like they
humble.
edit us out of fucking game shows. Like they hate seeing us happy.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, like a couple years ago, there was colleges have debates, law school debates, and Howard beat Harvard in the law school debate, and people were outraged. They're like, "How in the hell could Howard beat Harvard?" And the only reason you would be outraged about that is if your baseline belief is that black schools are inferior. I mean, I mean, it could have been like a no brainer. Like, okay, well, Howard had a better day, and that's it. But people were like, "How did this happen? How? How?" So it's a baseline fundamental belief that Americans have, and it's not going to be fixed anytime soon. So I feel like the best thing we can do is just pick our battles, um, but also like not take these people too seriously because we know that they they're just not going to change.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's just how it is. Um, I mean, battles can be won here and there, but um, the important thing to know is that it always takes an external event to move America forward. It's never internal, right? So for example, like the army was desegregated when we started running out of people, and because we're fighting the Cold War, um, civil rights movement push things forward because we were trying to push against communism, and all those videos were coming out of black people being like beat up and so on. So it's always an external event. It's not. It's never gonna come like internally, and that's just because why would you like if you live in an apartheid system where you're always the winner, like what incentive do you have to change any of that? The answer is none. You have zero incentive to change anything. I mean, I always tell people when if white people ask me about these things, I'll tell them the truth and I'll say, you know what's going to happen after this? Nothing. You'll feel bad for maybe like an hour or like 30 minutes, and then you're gonna be like, oh, what's for dinner?
Yeah. That's
And
literally
that's
the
it.
truth. Yeah, that's white privilege. Like you can hear about a plight of some other person. You can hear about uh, what women have to go through. You can hear about what it's like to live in poverty. But if you're a white man, you're just like, oh damn, that's awful. Well, back
Well,
to my
forget it.
awesome life. Hey, all right. See you on the links, Chet.
Yeah,
Chet.
yeah. They have no reason to change any of this. Um, so I mean, all we can do is pick our battles, and try to put out the small fires. But the major fire is not gonna change unless it's a major external event. And I thought that maybe that, you know, with COVID, that would be a major enough event, because you watch all these like monster movies where in the first act it's all these people that don't like each other, and then by the third act they're like, well, we have to band together. I don't like you, you don't like me, but we got to kill the monster. And we saw what happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I've lost complete faith. Like nothing's gonna change here.
Yeah, I said the same
And
thing. We're all gonna die.
well, I mean, I think I'm finally an American now. I'm finally a Black American. Now I get it.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said America and not like United States America, because ain't shit united here. That's one of the biggest lies that like is. I've never been someplace that's trying to section you off so many different ways. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an apartheid state. It's a caste system, and anyone who studies South Africa knows that this is exactly how South Africa was. The only difference in South Africa, the whites were in a numerical minority, and so they had to be more violent. I mean, as if America isn't violent enough as this, but the South African white minority had to be very, very violent because they were, outnumbered. But here it's like they can be casually racist and not have to worry about it. So anyway, well, man, I wish we were ending on something positive. Damn
I guess I'll pull
it.
up another crate video. Hang on.
That's not positive.
Yeah, that's like we've come full circle. It's like, hey, don't do this. Why are we listening to this shit? Why is this popular? Oh yeah, because the world sucks, and now if I can just watch somebody fall off a crate, it doesn't seem so bad for the next couple.
It makes me feel okay for a couple seconds.
Well, sorry to have to end on such a poor note, but like hopefully next week something funny will happen, or next week there'll be football, and we can talk about that.
Yep.
Why your team sucks.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Exactly. So what you got coming up, man? Show wise.
You and I are going to Wind River Casino on September the 8th. We're gonna be entertaining those good folks up there in Reading. I'm gonna be at the Punchline in San Francisco the September 22nd through 25th, and other than that, doing this shit. What about you, bro?
Um, I will be at Flappers. I think next Wednesday. Um, if you're in LA, please come out. Like they're still trying to like rev it up again. The Yoo-Hoo Room, so come through. And of course, well, Wind River Casino. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, and one more. I'm having a birthday show, a pre-birthday show. I don't know if I forgot about this. On September 19th at the Broadway Comedy Club in Santa Monica. You are more than welcome to come, bro, because we, like, regardless of whoever gets on stage, we're going to be getting drunk somewhere.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, hit me up. I'll come through. Definitely.
Right. Okay, guys. Thank y'all so much. Another show in the books. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get off Al Gore's and